You see, without proper designing, you will not be able to create a product that will differentiate you from your competitors. And while designing, you need to see that whether your product is harming the environment or not. It is very, very important. So designing has been a subject of discussion in today's era. So this chapter is very, very important, and it is not for only goods, it is for services as well. Next. This case study I want you to read yourself so that you learn that art of designing and how you benefit from that. Any business, how any business can benefit through the designing. Next is goods and services selection. What are the goods and services you select for your company, for launching in your company? Product strategy options, support, competitive advantage. This we will be discussing. Product life cycles. Product life cycle is very, very important because in different stages of the product life cycle, we go differently. Our designing is different. Life cycle in a strategy and different life cycle stages, there is a different strategy. Product by value analysis, and very, very important. By value, you analyze that which product you have to carry on or which product you have to drop, and plus you improve the existing product by looking at its value. Next. Generating new products, new product opportunities, importance of new products, product development system, quality function, deployment. This we will not be studying. Note it down. Quality function we will not be studying. It is taking more than 4 to 5 pages in your book, which we will not study. Organizing for product development, manufacturing, manufacturability and value engineering. So quality function deployment we will not study. It is one of the tool to deploy quality in the product. Next. Issues for product design. Robust design, modular design, computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, virtual reality, value analysis, ethics and environmentally friendly design. This is the most important one. Remember, issues for product design is the most important one because these are different ways you can design your product. Either you go with the robustness, with the modular approach, with the CAD approach, that is the computer-aided design. Through technology you design your product, and it is the computer-aided manufacturing. You manufacture the product with the help of, with the support of the computer. It is the virtual reality technology. Through the virtual reality you basically test the product, your product. So this is one of the important. Value analysis, very, very important, that what value you are taking out of it, what customer is taking out of it, and you improve the value of your product so that the customer would get more value out of his money. Value for money concept. Ethics and environmentally friendly design. This you will have to read yourself. I will not be covering that, but it is also important for a paper. Next. Time-based competition. It is also important. Time-based competition. It is highly applicable right now. Purchasing technology by acquiring a firm. You see many companies in our environment, many companies are ahead by, or many companies expand their market through acquiring multiple companies. You remember when the Unilever came over here, especially in the ice cream business. So what happened? They purchased Polka immediately. Without purchasing them, they cannot penetrate in the market because Polka was one of the top. So it is very difficult for them to penetrate. Purchasing technology by acquiring a firm. Joint ventures, you work with other companies and you develop the innovative product. Alliances, you see this chapter is very, very important. Why? Because we are behind the designing and innovation of products. That is why you see we have a few innovations, Pakistani innovations in our companies. So this chapter is very, very important, and why I'm teaching you so that you understand that how better you can design your product. And when you design your product well, your product will be definitely successful. If the designing is poor, if the engineering is poor, then your product can never be successful. So designing is very, very critical. So the companies who are on top, they design the product in unusual manner, and they are very quick in the response. Their differentiation strategy is through the designing of new products. They have so many products. P&G, Unilever, Nestle, other top companies in the world, they have so many products. More than 1,000 brands they have. Brands means in the umbrella of a particular brand, there are multiple other SKUs, other categories. So you see, the big companies have so many brands. So brands become starting with a design. When you start designing the new products, you come up with a brand. Eventually you come up with a brand. When you have a brand, you have a loyalty of a customer. You have a promise for your customer. You have an image in the customer's mind. So that's all start with the designing of a product. So very, very important. So we miss as society, we miss this. Defining a product, make or buy decision, group technology, very, very important. When you define a product, either you make or buy decision is very, very critical nowadays. Why? Because if you are cost effective, then only you can go for that. If you have a competitive advantage, then only you manufacture. Otherwise, you do not. It is not wise to manufacture, because you need to focus on your core competency in which you are best at, instead of doing the other task, because your competitor can do that, and your competitor can go ahead of you, and maybe you become out of business because of that. So you don't take a chance at all. You have to be on toes. The competition is very lethal. You see, recently I came to know Unilever has filed a case against the Reckitt and Benckiser. They are very lethal to each other because they have the same market. They want more share. They want profitability for their stakeholders. They do not compromise on anything. Okay. Next. I will not be discussing much. If you want to read, you may read, and that is not particularly very important for exam. Documentation is important, and documentation basically it is recommended when you want to expand your product or services. For example, when you purchase a Microsoft product, Microsoft Windows, you always get documentation. When you purchase a car, you get documentation. Documentation is basically the specification about your product. It helps you in understanding more about the product, and you can expand the product through that documentation, and you can better operate the product. You can go at the optimum performance through understanding documentation. When you purchase a mobile, there is a documentation, user manual. It is recommended that you read that so that you can use the mobile at best. Because when you purchase a mobile that is very, very expensive, it is not because the ongoing call, the ingoing and outgoing call, it is not because of that, or messages. It is because of some added feature. So if you do not use the features, it is useless. So documentation is very, very important. It tells you the details about the product. Learning from the documentation is an art, and we need to learn as a consumer so that we can optimally use the product. We use the method of trial and error, and that is actually waste a lot of time, and it decreases the performance of the product, and it has a risk that your product can be break down. It has a risk. Next. Okay. when you complete this chapter, you should be able to define a product life cycle, describe a product development system, build a house of quality. This you will not be able, since I will not be teaching you. Describe how time-based competition is implemented. So time-based competition is being discussed in this chapter. It's very, very important. Time-based competition. There is no concept of time-based competition over here in our society. But time-based competition is very, very important. Yes. Because time-based competition does not give you a much time. You have to be very responsive. Market is very, very tough. If you are late, then you are out of market. You cannot launch your product late. You have to be very quick, very quick. I might be mentioned you before that L'Oreal launches its product every single month. That is why they are different from the other makeup company. They are top company in the world. So that's how you differentiate yourself when you launch a product timely. So time-based competition is very, very important. You need to learn that whether and when you have to launch a product. Next. You need to define the product and services, prepare the document needed for production, describe customer participation in the design. When we talk about the documentation, it is not about the product usage only. It is about the engineering also. For example, you give to the industrial engineer to engineer the product or to manufacture the product. So you give the product design documents. So in that document, the specification is there. The engineering design is there. So through that design, they basically first develop the product as per the demand, as per the design. It is very important that how you document it. If your document is not, for example, if you want to build a house, so what kind of document do builder require to construct your house? Any idea?
Sorry?
What document the builder require to build your house?
Sir, AutoCAD चाहिए होगा उसको.
For what?
सर डॉक्यूमेंट जिस पे ये इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर खड़ा करेगा.
AutoCAD पे. For designing. For design. So you see, you need to design first that what would be the structure of your house, where and how many rooms would be there, and what will be the length of the rooms, what would be the area, what would be the area of the house will occupy, and how much area would be left, the construction area and the left area. Everything has to be mentioned. Likewise, for manufacturing any product, you need to document everything. What is the idea you have about the product. So many people are in that. It starts with the research and development team, research and innovation team, project manager, and goes to the engineers. Engineers sit with you and they come up with the drawings, different drawings. And when the drawing specification they give to the manufacturing engineers and they manufacture it first. First manufacturing is very, very important. Either it is through the computer or manually. But it is very, very important. Its measure has to be very precise so that it performs as per your expectations. Functionality of the product has to be tested once the product is made. Because if the functionality is not as per the expectation, you cannot expect the other bulk product to be manufactured the better way. So first product has to be an ideal one so that you may follow the same procedure. That is what documents are. Apply decision trees to product issues. We will not be studying the decision trees over here. We will be studying in some other chapter, but not in this chapter. Decision tree is basically concept in which the probability is there, and through probability you decide that what chances of success you have when you take a particular option. This is called the decision tree, because in decision making you require the chances of success. When you have less chances of success, more chance of loss, then you do not go for that. Less chance of success and more chance of failure, you do not go for that. So decision tree basically helps you in understanding the option which has more chances of success. Very, very important. So we will not be studying the numerical way. I just mentioned you before. Next. Okay. Okay, let's take a break.